Episode number 95. Welcome to the Beyond Jiu Jitsu podcast. My name's Adam Charles, across from Kieren Lefebvre. Kieren, stop crying, Kieren. Today we're talking about emotions.
Getting emotional today. Adam's going to share his childhood trauma with the world.
I never had one.
Oh, you didn't get one? I got one for Christmas every year. Oh, geez.
Oh man, one of my students, Dave. You know Dave Christescu.
Yep.
He's got 3 kids, right? All 3 used to train jiu-jitsu with me. The youngest one has taken a break. I mean, he's only 5, or is he 6 now? Anyway, kids be kids. Recently, it was one of his kids' birthdays, and he told me, he was like, oh man, me and Carla, his wife, he's like, man, me and Carla, he's like, we've screwed up. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know how we got into it, but we've got this thing going where when it's one of the kids' birthdays, all the kids get a present. And I was like,
what?
And I was like, what? Yeah, I know.
What do you mean you got something going? Stop doing it.
That was my exact reaction.
All the kids get a what the fuck?
And he was like, tried to save face. He was like, well, like, you know, the main kid gets a big present. The other kids get like little presents. I was like, it doesn't matter, bro.
Yeah, that's
like,
going to evolve.
Yeah, I was like, you got to get rid of that.
That's the worst.
Someone else who was in the room, they're like, how did that even start? And he was like, I don't even know. It was like, I guess because when they were little, it was like, buy them a $5 toy from Kmart. And he's like, but now they want iPhones and Apple Watches. And he's like,
yeah, that's like, oh, for my brother's birthday this year, this is what I want. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You want? Shut up. What the hell?
Anyway, I didn't have one of those childhoods.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Fucking eastern suburbs, eh?
Yeah, bro, it was so funny. And then because he was like, Cody was the son whose birthday it was. He was like, so fuck, I had to get like Cody a present, then the other kids presents. He was like, and then on his birthday, we went out to teppanyaki. He was like, man, and the place is like doubled in price than it used to be. He goes, and then this weekend we got his birthday party. He's like, and I got 3 of those fucking kids.
Oh man, that's rough.
So anyway, Dave cries a lot.
Yeah.
Very emotional.
So today we're talking about emotions. Talking about getting emotional. Emotions in jiu-jitsu, emotions in training, emotions in life. We're going to share some emotions. We're going to open up a little bit.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, don't share with me, bro.
Yeah. Sharing is caring. Is it though? Is it? Yeah, it is. That's what I have to tell my son. Sharing is caring. He doesn't share shit with me, bro. Fucking 3-year-old. So emotions in training. Are you too emotional? Not emotional enough? What do you get emotional about? Do you get emotional when you train, Kieren?
Very, very rarely. Very rarely. What define the emotion? Is aggression emotion?
There's more than, it's not just one.
I have to do some life thinking on that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not just talking about people crying.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like anger, we're getting sad. I get frustrated. Frustration's an emotion, right?
I guess.
I mean, sometimes I get really frustrated. I only get angry at myself. Oh, that's very, very odd occasion I get angry at my training partner. Very, very rare. But sometimes I have. Like, you know, mid-roll, they're doing something that I don't like and I get kind of annoyed with them. A little bit. I wouldn't say anger, but yeah, fuck it. A little bit.
Well,
angry.
yeah, I guess the catalyst for this episode is that I saw someone ask, essentially, like, imagine if I well, I'm going to ask you the question. The question was, is it okay to get emotional when training jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It is, right?
It's human.
You know, but I guess you can then.
It's your behavior that needs to be regulated.
Yeah. Look at you, Mr. fucking PhD over here.
2 dudes, 0 tertiary education, says 1 sentence. Oh, fucking fancy. Didn't know you had a PhD, bro. Fucking shut up, dude. Lucky to finish high school.
No, I did finish high school.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, so well, I guess it depends what you get emotional about, and like you said, like, well, you know, what manifests after that. Have you in your, God, how long have you been training for now?
Nearly 2 years, like closing in on 2 years.
Including a huge stint of COVID lockdown.
I was training though, bro. I was fucking getting around it.
It's a shame that wasn't reflected in your progress. Oh, yeah, you were training through it. In your 2 years, can you recall any times you've found yourself particularly emotional?
Yep. One time I got mad and it reflected in my behavior, which I'm not super keen on. I got frustrated with, it was specific training and it was like a Shark Tank style of training. And I lost the round that I made a stupid mistake and got submitted by a white belt, and I just got promoted to blue belt, and I like stormed away from the guy without like, thanking him for the little training. Which
you're the meme I saw the other day. That was like
you're the meme.
It was like
it was okay in that context because like it was like one after the other really rapid. So it was sort of like it wasn't obvious to. I don't think this individual would ever even remember it or think anything of it. No one thought anything of it at the time. It was completely normal, but I thought something of it because I knew I did it intentionally. You know what I mean? I was like mad about it. I was mad that I got smashed. That's the only time that my emotions reflected in my behavior. But I have been getting mad at a couple of people lately for doing things that annoy me, like that they shouldn't be doing in training, like single joint manipulation and stuff like that. I'm just getting a little bit mad at certain individuals.
Break their faces.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. So, don't bend my fingers back to break my grip. Like, bro, don't do that. So apart from that, like that was the one time that I actually got like, mad and reflected in my behavior.
Yeah, well, let me tell
it was
you.
minor.
Let me tell you the meme that you were.
Send me the meme. Tell me.
It's like a picture of a phone, but the phone's like, like a meter long.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like this length of text, and it's like upper belt explaining why he was submitted by a lower belt.
Joke's on you. I'm not an upper belt, boy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, last episode we established I'm still a lower belt, boy.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, I saw that. That's fucking hilarious. But that's the only time. And again, like it wasn't even bad. And in my mind, I think I remember it worse than what it was. But
have you found yourself like in the gym or with a partner or in a class where someone else has gotten emotional?
Yeah. Ollie. You remember that story?
Oh, wait, yeah. Please
Poor
retell
Ollie,
it.
he's been turned into like a highlight reel on this podcast. Love you, Ollie, man. But this is funny. One time, this is like when we did the episode about our like highlight moments that we remember in jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yes.
I told this story. So sorry if you remember. You're going to hear a shortened version of it again.
Ollie's sitting there like, fucking again.
Fucking goddamn it.
Told this once already. People had forgotten. They had moved on, Kieren.
Oh, fuck you, Ollie. I love you. Ollie, very, very good purple belt. Very strong purple belt. Bull rolling. He was having an off day. He was trying to submit me. And that he wasn't able to submit me in mount or whatever. He had my back or something like that. And then I reversed the position, escaped, passed him, mounted him, took his back, and then subbed him. So it was like a complete reverse of the position. That's why he was frustrated.
But
and he got fucking mad. He slammed the mat. I was like, fuck. Slammed the mat, stormed off, kicked the water bottle. He was like, fuck. And I was like, ooh. Yeah. And he came immediately. He wasn't mad at me. He was mad at himself.
Yeah.
And that was very, very clean. He came up and said, look, man, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not mad at you. And he tried to explain it, but it's like, bro, don't worry. I totally get it. Like, I totally get it.
I've definitely done that multiple times. It's not something I would do nowadays, I don't think, but definitely when I was not as in that I've matured, but just
Which you haven't.
Which I haven't. Just at a different point in my jiu-jitsu. I'm no longer like a young competitor who is like, yeah, of course I'm still competitive. Anyone who continues to train jiu-jitsu is competitive. It's a competitive sport, whether you're doing it from a hobby point of view or not, right? But yeah, like I've done that plenty of times, heaps of times where I've just been like, I've screamed like, fuck, or I've like slapped my hand into the mat or something. And it's, never been in those, there's times I've been pissed off at partners, but like in those examples,
Always
it's
at
never
yourself.
been,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Always at
I've done that with you even.
I've done it with, I think with Joey even,
Yeah.
where I've gotten the shits with something that's happened in
Yeah.
a role or, yeah. So that one, you know, is that okay? I think it is. I mean, it just, look, if you're doing it every
time,
single
yeah.
role,
Yeah.
every single day,
Yeah.
but I mean, Ollie's been training with me now. Oh man, I lose track of time with the COVID lockdowns in and out, but like over 2 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Longer than I have.
And
yeah.
and that's one time I've
Yeah.
seen him do that.
One time, never seen anything out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've,
100%.
So I mean, if Ollie gets frustrated enough that he has to like, you know, audibly yell or something once every 2 years, like,
Right.
like it doesn't fucking matter, man.
The dude's
you know?
chill in my
yeah,
book.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Have you ever seen someone have like a similar reaction, but then storm out of the gym? Have you ever seen someone like legit storm out? Because you hear these stories on like Reddit.
Someone storm out of the gym. I don't think so. I saw a fight break out once at
That's worse.
At my gym in Brazil.
Like a punch on. They
Yeah,
started
pretty
throwing.
much. I can't really even.
Isn't that funny when jiu-jitsu guys get mad? They end up throwing punches.
Yeah, but I think
just roll, boys.
yeah, I know. But I think it also just. I think there's something very primal about it, right?
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
there's that primal urge or instinct to
strike. Yeah,
like, you know, I don't even want to say like it's more primal than saying that primal instinct to hit something is already taking it past the how I want to define it as primal. It's like that primal feeling of banging, of smashing something, as in not as in like physically breaking something. I just mean like, you know, literally like if you look at a silverback gorilla, like, and when they're screaming and yelling and they're banging their fists on the ground and this, I don't know. I think there's something very like your primal nature takes over when emotions boil over that much that even if you're fucking world champion jiu-jitsu black belt, I don't know. It's just something about like banging.
Was it a good fight or did they let him go or did they stop him?
It was funny. I can't even remember the two guys that were. They were both black belts. And, you know, it was competition training and I don't even know what happened actually. But I remember Fabio didn't even give a shit. It was just like whatever. And they kind of had a very brief sort of like fisticuffs. Like, I mean, brief as in like 3 to 5 seconds before other people like split it up. Then they were yelling profanities at each other and the rest of we just kept training. And it was, I actually remember at the time thinking, I was like, I remember sitting there thinking, did no one else see that? Like, why are we just, not that I expected us to sit around and hold hands and talk about it, but like, I was kind of like, yeah, I was like, Fabio's not going to do anything about that. Like, I mean, are they, you know, one of these dudes kicked out of the gym. I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
There's like a little blue or purple belt sitting around going, don't piss that dude off. Fuck.
Yeah, what would you do in that situation?
I guess in Fabio's defense, you know, I think at the time as well, like Fabio was training as well. So it's hard. Like if you don't see it, you can't see everything, right? You know, if there's a bit of an altercation between two students or something, obviously if you talk to them, one dude's going to blame the other dude, the other dude's going to blame the other, and you know, but he hit me first or or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would definitely, of course, if I was within arm's reach and two of my students were physically going at it, like I would be leaping across my gym to break that fight up. Like that's just not fucking happening. That's not cool. Again, in Fabio's defense, his gym's very big. So maybe he was like, they're way too far away. He's like, they're like 20 meters away. I can't get there in time. But yeah, so I'd definitely physically break up a fight. And then I would probably just, I don't know. I don't think you can just give it a blanket statement. It would depend on the circumstances and who it is. But yeah, you would separate them and tell them to go their separate ways or, you know, fucking over there, we'll talk about it, or like, man, just you two just fuck off, go home, we'll talk about it tomorrow, or I don't know. Would have to depend on but yeah, I would be present in it. But I remember they had their scuffle and other black belts split it up. Then they kept mouthing profanities at each other, and then everyone just made new pairs and kept training. And I was like, I remember just being like, how is nothing, I thought it was so weird.
Do you think it's a cultural thing or it's just like, fuck it?
I don't know.
We're busy.
Maybe there could have been some dialogue that happened that I didn't pick up, even speaking Portuguese. I'm not by any means fucking anywhere near a native speaker, proficiency in Portuguese. So maybe there was some dialogue that happened that I missed that made that situation reset to normal. I don't fucking know. But I remember at the time being like, this is weird. So
what do you think of this then? So a lot of our listeners would be familiar with this because it's public, it's on YouTube. Daisy Fresh, the gym.
Yeah.
It's
quite ironic, that name, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
They, if ever two people that train there have a problem with each other and want to fight, they openly allow it. So they set up organized fights at time, location, it doesn't matter, after class, there's a whole fucking.
And then it's
class
like an
people.
MMA fight.
It's like an MMA fight. They certain rules, obviously, no, standard MMA rules, I'm assuming, but they just let it go. They have a referee, I suppose, and they just let them fucking fight.
Well,
let them punch shit out of each other.
Yeah,
man, it's on YouTube. One of the fights that happen. It doesn't happen often, but one of the fights, these two guys just beating the crap out of each other.
Do they just bare knuckle it?
Yep, just bare knuckle. I think they'll bare knuckle. Yeah, pretty sure. There's just a street fight, but on the mats. And basically, the owner was saying along the lines of, I'd rather them, do it here. So fucking he orchestrates it and lets it happen. They both sign waivers. They've already got the waivers. So just fucking finish it and get on with it.
I mean, I wouldn't.
It's crazy, but they have a different scenario because they all live there, and it's a little bit different. It's a bit,
they're American.
They're a bit weird.
Yeah.
I think one of the guys that got in the fight. No, it wasn't Australian. There's two American guys. And one of the guys just wanted to punch the crap out of the other, didn't care about submissions. The other guy was treating it kind of like if I submitted my win. So the guy that air quote won submitted him, but the other guy did way more damage. So who really won? Yeah. You know what I mean? The other guy didn't really give a fuck about the jiu-jitsu. He just wanted to punch crap out of him.
Yeah.
It was it was childish, why they fought, but whatever. Anyway, so what do you think about that? Would you ever allow that? If I came to you and said, hey, this guy, this guy's been wanting to fight me, and he's called me out. He wants to come to the gym. He wants to fight. Would you allow someone
if it was someone I wanted to see get punched in the face, I guess.
would you set up the waiver, sign the waiver, you both agreeing, here's the mats, I'm the referee, you can fight if you want. Would you allow that?
Nah, yeah, definitely not. But it's funny. I guess Heath's the owner of Daisy Fresh. I guess Heath's approach would be similar to how when, places facilitate heroin addicts shooting up because they're they're oh, well, better that they safely do it here than somewhere else and leaving contaminated needles around and whatever. It's or better they do it here. It's okay. I get that. But on the other hand, it actually reminds me of something else I heard where someone drew a parallel like that. Oh, fuck, what was it? Oh, man, it was actually irrelevant as well.
Analogy.
Fuck, I can't remember. But anyway, it was something like that where someone drew a parallel. So let's say he says that, similar to facilitating heroin addicts, blah, 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 blah. And then the person just was like, yeah, but fucking no, bro. It's not the same thing. Heroin addicts will die, the way that the drug works, if you just stop them cold turkey, they'll fucking die, man. I know it's not as black and white as that, but it's not the same thing, right? Yeah, you can make your analogy, but it is not the same thing as facilitating heroin addicts. There's medical reasons, there's public safety reasons why you're doing that. It's just two uneducated fucking Americans that want to punch each other in the face, right? Or whatever.
So what's the difference between that and an MMA gym? Because you see it all the time online, the troll on the internet, approaches the pro fighter, I'll smash you, bro. You're fucking rah. And all right, then fucking show up. And they actually do. And they do fight.
Yeah. I don't know.
They sign the waiver, they put on the gloves, they get in the octagon. It's a little bit different. I mean, it's still the same thing, right? It's still a fucking fight. is still like going at
I guess it's like a throwback to the old Gracie Challenge days.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, I don't know, but bare knuckles brutal, bro. Like,
honestly, I can't remember they had gloves on. Maybe they did, but I don't recall. We'll have to look it up. I don't think they did, but either way.
Yeah, I think there's, I'm definitely not one of those people who, you know how when some people say like violence never solved anything, and so, well, fuck, man, it solves heaps of shit. So I'm definitely not one of those like violence doesn't solve problems, but I don't think it's very, I don't know, it seems a bit counterintuitive for an environment.
It's not how you want to run a business, man.
Run a business, build a team, a bunch of these guys live together.
Yeah.
Like,
it's ridiculous. Like if you started,
imagine if you were a parent and you said, better my two children who are fighting over that toy, just, have a punch on and, better they
out. Yeah.
Like,
it's pretty old school.
I don't know, man.
Like, I have to agree, particularly from a position of, say, for example, you did orchestrate these and it is after class like Daisy Fresh did. And then you have, maybe that would make some of your students feel incredibly uncomfortable, which it would make people feel very uncomfortable because it's not that type of environment. It's not like a, whatever. Like theirs is, very
it kind of
boys
makes
club, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of makes me also think about when we've spoken about the gauntlet in jiu-jitsu, like when you get your belts and you get whipped by the belts. And long story short, it was something that started back in the day when everyone who trained together, like it was such a small, close-knit group of people. It was essentially like a group of mates or
it was
like
a joke, yeah.
Yeah, like almost like a fraternity like sort of thing. And so these are like your best mates, boys clubs. So whipping each other, like it's
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, but then as the business and jiu-jitsu grows, you can't just go around whipping anyone.
You can't be orchestrating fights.
Yeah, but although it does make me, it's quite funny. I'm going to tell another anecdote. So we got this student, Sammy.
Yeah,
right? Were you there when this happened?
I missed it. I was kicking myself. So, I heard the fucking lead up and Sammy stressing about it.
Yeah, so Sammy, a student of mine, a blue belt, had this friend, Jack, I think his name was, who had done a trial before. So I'd met Jack before, and Sam and Jack are also friends with other students like Dan and Jake and Ross and George and a bunch of people. So I had met Jack and his extended friends. Some of mine are students, some aren't, right? So he wasn't a complete random, but anyway, Sammy and Jack drunk talking. Jack reckoned he could take Sammy. So we set up for Jack to come in and have a roll with Sammy after class. And it was like a similar thing to Daisy Fresh, but not. It wasn't. It
was
an
a roll.
MMA.
He came in for a roll.
He came in for a roll.
Yeah,
right.
Completely different.
But it was quite funny, and Sammy obviously.
I saw the video.
Sammy obviously submitted him, but then this other dude, Jared. It was like once the air quotes fight was over, Jared just walks in. He's got like a case of beer on his shoulder, cracks a beer open. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck do you think this is? Get that out of here. Fuck off. It's like some crappy little roll. Like, I mean, this isn't now just a
party.
A party in my gym.
This is a fight. What are you talking about? I bought a ticket for this. I remember like hearing Sammy talk about it, like, oh, what if this, what if that? Just like kind of stressing, like, fuck, what if he wins?
Yeah.
But everyone's like, dude, he's not gonna fucking win. It's like rolling with a day one wipeout, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
The guy that was rolling with Sammy had no idea what the fuck was going on. Left his arms out. And I think he got armbarred or some shit.
Yeah, something like that.
He got tapped pretty quick. Yeah.
Anyway, back to being emotional. Besides like slapping the mat in frustration like Ollie had, I've never been at jiu-jitsu and cried or anything like that, but I've left jiu-jitsu when I was younger, competitive, and this was my career. Like I definitely left jiu-jitsu being very emotional. Like I think for some people they don't get it. If you're pursuing jiu-jitsu like a career and it's not just a hobby, and you sometimes have bad training or you lose a competition or something, sometimes it feels the same way someone going through uni might feel if they fail an exam or if they struggle to grasp a fundamental subject that they need to understand to pass their degree. Like imagine if you were studying medicine and like you failed an exam, like you'd be emotional about it, right? You know, or imagine if, you know, when you were in the Navy, if you failed certain, you know, maybe not things that get you kicked out, but part of your training, if you fail something, like you're going to be upset about it. Like no one wants to fucking fail. And so there were times I left training definitely, you know, maybe even I can't recall times where I was ever like sobbing, but I remember leaving training times with like being teary eyed and just like wanting to quit. And, but in terms of, I'm trying to think, the most recently time when I emotionally lost my cool to like in a way that you go, you know, looking back on it, shouldn't have done that, was actually rolling with JT. I don't know if I've told you this, but yeah, JT and I had a roll and I can't even remember what happened. I don't know why, but you know, JT and I, long time listeners will know, but JT from Bulletproof for BJJ, he was on the podcast, I think episode 29 or something.
He's our first guest.
He was our first guest. We lived together in Brazil. We trained together since like blue belt or something like that. Known each other for a long time, but we were training and I don't know what happened, but I think I was complaining because we were training in the gi. I think I was complaining that he reaped my leg and he was saying he didn't or something. Anyway, something like that. And can't remember what I said, but man, I was so fucking pissed off. Like it was, I couldn't have been close. Like for me emotionally was, I didn't leave the gym because obviously it's, wait, did I leave the gym? Like I didn't storm off, but did I leave early and ask someone else to close? No, I didn't, but I just was like done for the night. Like I didn't do any more rolls.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember emotionally, like I got pushed so far that then I was going to go either one or two ways. I was either going to be like, fuck it, I'm out and leave the gym, or I was going to tell JT to get the fuck out. And I remember it was the day after or a couple of days after, like we spoke on the phone. I was like, oh bro, I'm sorry. I just fucking lost my cool or whatever. Like I can't even remember exactly what happened. It was over something so insignificant about a reap or something. And I don't know why, but in that particular moment, I was like, no fucking, I was like screaming and yelling. I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
But you know, that's happened once in over a decade of jiu-jitsu. So I think that's a gimme. Give me one.
Yeah.
But my, the thing that will turn me into a keyboard warrior. You know, those keyboard warriors are like, but you never see me angry.
I see red.
Yeah, I see red. Yeah. Speaking of JT, actually, like him doing him doing a lot of my strength conditioning stuff. Like he'll tell you, like once, you know, I definitely train better and perform better and roll better, compete better when I'm pissed off. Like, and you know, JT will be like, you know, when we did a lot of strength training together in preparation for comps, he's like, man, if I can get, like, he's like, when I get you to switch that on, he's like, you just become a different animal. Some people are really good at just being able to, whether it's an emotional thing or not, they're just able to physically perform in that way. Whereas I struggle to get that physical performance out when I'm not pissed off. But sometimes when like what triggers that, for lack of a better word, is if I get really frustrated. So for example, Ollie, sometimes I'll be rolling with him and like, you know, I might just get really frustrated by his deep half guard or just his relentless over unders. And I'm just like, dude, get the fuck, man, you fucking bit. And then I'm like, it's fucking, you know, and then it's go time.
Yeah.
Or if you really want to trigger me, let me get to side control and then push my head and arm down in between your legs for that dumbass fucking reverse triangle that does nothing but squeeze your face. When I get my head out, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Right? That shit pisses me off so much. And that's, you know, and then it's go time. So like I get kind of emotional in those ways. Yeah. For me, I wish I could tap into that emotion, or I wish I was able to tap into the physical performance that emotion gives me. That would be nice, because for me, I find it helps a lot. And I think it's also, I get asked quite often, oh man, why does Nicholas Merigali get so much hate? And I don't know if this is true because I've never spoken to him about this, but you know, he strikes me as, when you see him compete and when you see him stepping on the mat, he strikes me as one of those people who likes to get psyched up, and like you see him, he does a lot of that, like, like he's, you know, fucking pissed.
Chest banging and
yeah,
stuff.
you see heaps of MMA fighters do it and whatever. And, you know, whether it's for a similar reason or not, I don't know. But I think that's also why he gets a lot of hate, because people think he's like angry and pissed off and whatever, and not necessarily.
Gives off that douche energy, but he's just getting in. He's a professional athlete. He's getting in the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. See, I'm the opposite. If I get angry, I perform way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
Yeah, isn't that interesting, eh? Like I definitely perform way better.
I need to be in a good mood. Like I'm the complete opposite. When I'm mad, I get tilted and make mistakes and then just get frustrated myself and then just get, you know, waste energy and just do dumb shit. It's kind of like, you know, when you're playing video games, you get mad, you get tilted.
So as soon as you said tilted, I knew what you were talking about. That's quite a niche video game term, isn't it?
Yeah, well, sort of. Yeah.
I've never heard it used anywhere else.
Like they use it in chess as well, like tilted.
Do they?
Yeah, I think it's like a game thing, right? So I get tilted in sport. Like if I get frustrated and mad, it depends on the day, but in general, particularly in competition, if I'm competing like or going into a role kind of like frustrated, a lot of the time it will tilt me. If I'm in a good mood, I'll perform way better. But there are occasions where like you're mad and, you know, you just go fucking hard and you don't care. And yeah, obviously you're going to perform better. Like you were saying, like you know, you get frustrated and just unleash. Yeah, I do that too. But I can unleash even more when I'm in a positive mood.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite, eh? When I'm in a positive mood, sometimes I'm a little bit like, you go, just pass it. Just have psych. Oh, you're such a nice guy. No, you go first.
Total opposite. Yeah. Like when I'm in a shit mood, I'm just like, fuck it. I don't care. I just switch off. I'm like, fuck it. Just pass me.
I've had moments like that too. I think, But yeah, I've definitely had moments where I'm just so frustrated or angry or upset or disheartened where I'm like, I essentially just give up. But like they're far and few between.
Yeah,
for me,
definitely.
it's typically that frustration or pissed off anger emotion is super valuable for me. If I were able to turn that on and off like a switch, I think it would help me a lot. But definitely for some people it's not, you know, like you said, for yourself or you know.
I've tried it before. It's just not for me, hey. I perform a lot better in a good mood.
Yeah. What was you asked at the start if I had seen someone storm off the mat.
Yeah.
And I remembered I have.
It was me.
But I'm just trying to think on the spot if I want to share it or not.
Yeah, if you're on the fence, probably go with don't share it. Everyone's like, oh, come on, shut up, fuck you. But when you're talking about you leaving the gym a few times and being, you know, a bit like emotional, I've had 2 times where I've had sort of like, not like, you know, I wasn't crying or anything, but like, fuck, man, that was rough. Like shit, just had so like it had been so significant that I still remember it, even though the most recent one was like over 6 months ago. And it was 2 occasions where I got the Navy term boned in, where I got like, you know, the whole like, you know, where I got like, not roused on, but, you know, got a talking to, if you will. And the first talking to, you know, like, okay, let me tell the story and then it will make sense.
Okay.
So the first one was, I was a white belt like pretty early on, and it was the time you sat me down and spent like 10 minutes after class. Because sometimes you do that with students when they need like, you know, everyone's lined up and you still like talking to
some people just need a little extra help.
Yeah. And you were talking to me and you were kind of like, you know, you weren't having a go at me, but it was kind of like, all right, man, you need to try a bit harder. Like,
did I? I don't even remember this.
Yeah, this is a while ago. This is a bit of a pep talk. It was a pep talk. I
spend a lot of time talking to you, so I can't.
Yeah, it was a long, well before the podcast, before all this. It was like first 6 months. I think I had 1 comp, and you're like, you're not using your strength enough. It was that chat. And it's like you're not trying it hard enough, and you know you're like. We're talking for like 10 minutes. Being
a little bitch.
We're talking. We talked after the round. We talked all through the next round and a little bit into like when everyone was lined up. And
you remember this very well.
Yeah, I remember it explicitly because I remember it like really had a deep impact on me, and it changed my game. And you know, it was a positive thing, but at the time, didn't feel great.
Yeah, at the time, you're like, "Fuck, I've just been like."
It's nothing you did. It's me, right? It's all internal. And the other time was I had a similar situation, but with Joey, and that was like a year later. So it was those 2 conversations with 2, you know, people I respect highly, 2 black belts that were kind of like, hey man, like you need to sort this out, or like, hey man, I'm not happy with this or something, you know, along those lines.
Yeah.
And those have been the biggest like impacts where I've left the gym for like, fuck, man.
Yeah, right.
Just felt like
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, but which one cut you deeper? Mine, right? It's got to be mine.
Yours was more positive. Yours was happier.
Joey just dumped shit on me for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Shit. Yeah. Yours was a more positive experience.
Yeah. But yeah, I think some people, I don't think there's anything wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Let me try that again. You could summarize it, what you said at the start, right? You know, there's nothing wrong with being emotional. It's the behavior that you present after with said emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like I said, if I roll better and everything when I'm, you know, a little bit pissed off, angry, frustrated, but I do that with, you know, it's zero cranking submissions or intent to hurt anyone or disregard for safety or anything like that. You know, like when I roll angry, it's just this fire of more intensity and desire to win. And it's almost like it's anger at myself, right? Not at my opponent, you know, even if they're the ones who made me angry, right? So I can do that. Whereas some people might get angry and then all of a sudden they try to hurt you, right? If that's the case, then you could say, well, yeah, the fact that you got emotional and got angry, there's nothing wrong with that. There's, you know, it's fucking 2022. It's okay to cry and all that stuff, right? But yeah, if you get angry and then it makes you want to hurt people or try to hurt them, which I've trained with many people who do that, like that's not cool.
Don't do that.
But also there's some ones when people get frustrated and they give up. That's not good either, man. That's you know,
shit.
It depends what you do with said emotion.
Yeah. I hate it when someone is in a bad position and they just give up.
Yeah, bro, the fight's not over yet.
It's so shit. It's such I've spoken about that to death. But I think a recurring theme between you and I is our biggest issues not issues, but when we have the most emotional reaction to something, it's all aimed at ourselves.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah,
you know.
So if you're someone that when you get frustrated or whatever, you were aiming at your partner and trying to inflict harm onto someone else, that's a problem. That's an anger management issue.
That's right.
But if you have if you're so competitive and you hold yourself to such a high standard and, you know, you demand so much of yourself that when you feel like you're not, you know, living up to that or whatever, and you're getting frustrated internally, that can be a positive thing. So long as your behavior isn't reflected.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we did an episode ages ago about, you know, being too hard on yourself or your own harshest critic.
You're your own worst critic. And I remember what you were saying.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, as you should be. You know, if you criticize yourself and that leads to you being down on yourself and depressed about it, I mean, that's not healthy. But I mean, I'm my own worst critic, and then that I take that criticism as a means to get better. Yeah. You know, I'm never satisfied. You know, I always want to be better and, you know, fatter and podgier. Always.
Hang on a
minute. So if you use that criticism to improve yourself.
And this is probably a good time to announce that Adam is competing at ADCC.
I'm sponsored by croissants and buffets.
And Ben & Jerry's coming soon. Yeah.
Man, I would take that sponsorship.
Fucking nice.
Fuck, man. Imagine being sponsored by Ben & Jerry's or by Reese's.
Oh.
So good.
Reese's Pieces or Reese's peanut butter cups. So good, man.
You're not allowed them, bro.
No.
Can't have them. Can't have them.
Yeah. Fiance is allergic to peanut butter.
You got to stay shredded. Man, while we're having this conversation, I had a great idea for episode 100, but now I know we can't do it because Kieren's got to go learn how to fly a plane. You know,
the banana cup.
I thought the banana crown, we could film that and everything, and that could be episode 100. That would be fucking cool.
Oh, that you could always commentate it.
Dude, would be awesome.
We could do something like that. You're confident that's going to rain. So we have an internal competition coming up. It's called the banana crown.
Yeah, you made me think of it because when you said that, like, me and Joey gave you a talking to and everything, because let me give you guys, for the people who aren't from our gym, or even maybe you are, but you're not familiar with how the banana crown came about. So during the initial in and out of lockdowns, there were no competitions happening for obvious reasons. You weren't allowed to put on a competition at these venues. So we had an internal competition, and it ran like a regular competition. However, due to not having as many numbers, and you were only allowed something like 20 people in the gym at the time because of social distancing and blah, 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 ran like a normal competition, except for the fact that it was just, you know, air quotes, absolute divisions. So it was like all the white belts together, all the blue belts together, all the purple belts together. But yeah, and then they were just either 5 minute, 6 minute, 7 minute rounds, points and everything. Joey and I were refereeing it. And the winner of each division got a pineapple. Instead of a medal, they got a pineapple trophy, right? Because pineapples kind of look like a trophy if you think about it. Like if any fruit were to be a trophy, it would be a pineapple, right?
Yeah.
Trying to think. What other fruit could be a trophy? If you
Grapes.
said grapes.
Love grapes, man.
Note to self, Kieren doesn't know what a trophy looks like.
Yeah, so pineapple.
Yeah, the pineapple, and it was called the Pineapple Cup. And then, you know, and we had a get-together party thing afterwards. And it was funny because then as the weeks went by, people, you know, like they posted, you know, like someone posted in our group a picture of like the juice that they made with their pineapple. Yeah. Someone else posted a picture of them like grilled pineapple, and like Ross posted a picture of him lying in bed with his pineapple and stuff like that. And then so anyway, so that was something I was like, yeah, we're going to continue to do this. But then regular competitions came back, and it just
like, fuck it. Yeah.
Didn't make a lot of sense. It was like, well, if you're going to compete, just go do a competition. They're back on. We have the New South Wales states, which is, you know, for the local Sydney scene, arguably one of the bigger competitions you can do. And next to no one is doing it. And I'm furious about it. I've been telling people like that everyone, I'm not saying you have to compete to do jiu-jitsu, but I'm like, man, let's go. Like, let's do the competition. It's just down the road. It's super close to our gym and everything. And almost no one's doing it because they're all full of whatever excuses. Oh, I'm away that day. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, making weight, blah, blah, blah.
Go up and wait.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, all right then, motherfuckers. The following weekend, we're doing an internal competition and participation is mandatory. And I said, it's the banana crown. You can win a crown of bananas, right? See, because we've moved on from Pineapple Cup,
right?
Banana crown,
yep.
Right? And participation is mandatory. So now you don't have to worry about it being too expensive, all this other bullshit, right?
Only $50.
Yeah, that's right. Taking all the excuses off the table. However, I've not divulge the rule set or anything. That'll just be on the day. People keep asking me, what's the time limit? What are the rules? Yeah. Is it gi? Is it no gi? Weight limit, blah, blah, blah. And I've said to them, man, if you want to know all that information, very easy. Do a regular competition because they tell you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You want to know the rules? Go do a regular competition. Yep. I'm telling you on the day.
Yep.
Right.
I think
and then so the reason you reminded me of this is because then if someone is still coming to me with an excuse, you may as well walk up to me and say, oh, Adam, I've decided I don't want to get any better at jiu-jitsu. Like that's kind of, you know, and it reminds me of JT was talking to someone the other day, and I don't often take a page out of his book, but he essentially said to someone after a roll, pretty much what me or Joey said to you along those lines. He just said, man, like what are you fucking doing? It's like, oh, what do you mean? He's like, man, like you're just messing about. Like it's time to train. We're rolling. Like, do you want to get better? Like, do you want to get better at jiu-jitsu or have you peaked at blue belt and like you're done and you just want to fuck around now? It's like, man, so let's go. Let's train. Like, you know, did you try that sweep with 100% of everything you've got? Life depends on it. No, you tried it about 5% and then gave up. Like, let's fucking go. Do you want to get better? And I was like, man, like that's true. Some people need to hear that. And so with all that in mind, I was like, banana crown. And it would have been cool. We could have done that as the 100th episode.
But I won't be there.
Kieren won't be there. He's scared and allergic to bananas. No, he's got some bullshit course on.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want some bullshit, join our Patreon. He's getting worse and worse. Support us on Patreon. You can do so. The link is in our Instagram bio.
What are you going to do if just now the floodgates open and everyone is like, guys, you got to film the banana crown for the 100th episode? What are you going to do, bro?
Disappoint 100 people. Oh, shit.
Man, I'm used to you disappointing your family, but the people. Yeah, guys. Anyway, do the right thing with your emotions.
Yeah.
Bring some Kleenex. For your tears, people. For your tears.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.